nature. I must admit also, with the greenery there in the bush, we get a lot of visitors, so to speak.
I'm sure.
There would be monkeys, so I really loved your show last week. Not so much where I am, more to the houses that have the mountain range behind. Yes, you do get one or two slithery visitors. Shukr alhamdulillah, not harmful. So we get to learn about the snakes that do visit, but it's not something that's going to be there often.
Yeah, and they're actually part of the ecosystem.
Yes.
We're big on ecosystems. You spoke about the ocean and the dolphins, and a while ago we had a lady on the show who is the head of this marine biological research association, and she was talking about how it's not just straws in the nose of turtles, but people don't always understand that what we do in our garden impacts the ocean. Even if you're in Joburg. Why? Because everything, all those poisons, those toxins, those plastics that break down and go down into the water table, eventually somehow find their way to you. At the ocean. To you. So I also remember her saying that there was a few years ago, apparently several 40-foot containers full of these tiny little plastic microbeads broke.
Oh, okay.
And they are still finding those on the beaches in Durban. Everywhere. So if you're at the beach today at some point, please go ahead and pick up some plastic and put it away. Now, there is a WhatsApp message here from a sister from another mister. Now, I know this listener very well, because she came and found me at one of the souks, and she was very kind that she had been coming through every day and wanting to show me her guavas.
Wow.
Well, they're guavas, no, granadillas.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it.
Yes, Sister Razia Khan. So she says, salams. Hey, 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 Rabia and Bibi Aisha Lahir. So my input is, never throw away any seeds. Dry them and plant them in pots and watch them grow. Also, banana peels are good food for your soil, so everything has a purpose. Make use of it. Walaikum salam. Jazakallah so much for that. Absolutely. Not just banana peels, but coffee grounds, tea bags.
Now, I'm just thinking right now, firstly, Jazakallah khairan to your listener, for that valuable input, because we always need these tips of advice. So everybody knows I love cooking, with my cooking show and trying to eat healthy, clean eating. So what I love is, I have, because it's a bit of a challenge to get that herb garden, which I'm going to have to wait for until, spring comes in and obviously get expert advice. I sort of created my own little herb thingamajiggy, I'm going to say, in my kitchen. So I remember the one day,
I love collection, right? It's a little
somewhat of my collection. Yes. So I'm big into like we said, wholesome eating. I'm not big into marinades. And I love onions. I love spring onions. I love red onions. So the one day I had this purple onion and it had a little bit of the shoots coming out. And then I thought to myself, this thing is growing. Let me keep it one side. So I put it like in a little container and lo and behold, there's my spring onion growing. And it's there for like over a month. So when I need my spring onions, instead of going and purchasing it from the store, I just snip away. And that's something I learned from my mum.
I do that a lot, and that is a wonderful tip. So if you were to take your onion, if you've got a glass that the onion sits on top of, so the water should just touch the bum of the onion. Okay? That little... And so what then happens, it'll send its roots down and it will give you those lovely green shoots. And sometimes you'll find it divides into two. So if you're clipping and clipping and clipping, you cut off only what you need. You've always got lovely onions growing. And you can do the same with carrot tips if you want some of the carrot greens as decoration. You can take your coriander. We love our coriander. What's it?
Dania.
Dania. Yes, you love your Dania.
Dania.
She's the Dania girl.
Queen.
Dania queen. All you do is take a colander. So the stuff that you strain your pasta with, take your colander. Doesn't matter if it's plastic or stainless steel or what. Cover it with kitchen towel, the kitchen paper. Line it with that. And then take your coriander seeds. And here's the secret about growing coriander. You need to run a rolling pin over it gently just to crack those seeds. Otherwise, they take forever. And sometimes they rot in the soil.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
So you gooi them there into that colander.
Yes.
And then keep it wet. And you can put that colander into another little bowl that's got some water in. You're going to grow fresh dhania in your kitchen.
That is amazing. Now, here's another tip I'd like to share with you and your listeners. You know, and again, being a foodie, you know, you obviously want fresh produce. So growing up, there's always been this thing where we would put tomatoes at the bottom rack in the fridge.
Yes.
And it would just stay plump, red, juicy tomatoes. But recently on you know, I love cooking shows. I love learning from there. I learned, and I'm not going to say from where, yeah, right? They were saying that tomatoes should not be there, yeah? It's supposed to be kept in a basket or a container, yeah? On one side in your kitchen, yeah? Okay, obviously I'm going to say the Aussie. I'm trying the Aussie accent because I'm so into the chefs from Australia. I love learning from them. I mean, I visited Perth. So that's the whole thing, to keep your tomatoes fresh, plumpy, juicy, and obviously, you know, long alive, so to speak. Keep them in a little basket, one side in your kitchen instead of
in the
fridge. I never knew that.
Yes.
And I'm loving it because I'm getting to see that my tomatoes are staying longer.
Yes.
And alhamdulillah, there you go. Some so easy tips.
So easy tips, absolutely. And you know, the other thing is you can preserve foods so nicely. And I think we need to get you to do a book on preserving preserves, recipes, not how to preserve necessarily, but that is going to be included, obviously, because preserves. I have this book that is older than the hills. Honestly, it was given to me by an old lady who was 104 years old.
Wow, mashallah.
Okay, and she used to work for the beef industry, and yet she loved fruits and vegetables and natural living and gardening. And so she gave me this book on preserves, and these are the most amazing recipes. Like you can make banana jam. So I made, and it's called bananada. Now I made this banana jam when my banana bore fruit, because what do you do with bananas? They all kind of ripen at more or less the same time. There's so many of them, right?
Yes.
And so here's a recipe for you, Baby Aisha, this morning. Take your bananas and cut them up into small bits, put them into the pot with a little bit of water. That's all you need. And you cook them, and you cook them, and you cook, and you keep cooking them. And when you think you've cooked them enough, keep cooking them and stir them. What happens is it starts to reduce. Okay, so if you take like 12 bananas, you'll take a cup of water, put it in the pot, cook it. It makes a foam, so you need a big pot. It makes a foam, and then the foam settles, and you keep cooking, and you think this is never going to reduce. But it reduces all the way down. You keep stirring it, and the banana itself begins to caramelize. And as it caramelizes, it turns into a thicker kind of a situation.
That sounds so tasty. My mouth's already watering.
Now imagine you can throw some cardamom in there, some ilachi, cinnamon in
brown
there.
sugar.
Oh no, you don't need the sugar
Because it's already
because
sweet,
it's caramelized. It's incredible how sweet it is. Now, if you cook it down far enough and you press it into a container, you can eventually slice it, and you have a guilt-free treat. Because it's its own sugars that have caramelized. But you can use that on scones, on those lovely recipes you have for scones and for pancakes, those crepes that you have there with banana, right?
It's amazing.
Throw some of
sounds
this over
amazing.
it as well. You can mix this into peanut butter. You know how lovely banana and peanut butter is? Now we're speaking your language, right?
Absolutely.
But gardening and food, I mean, the reason we garden is for food, right?
Most definitely. You know, Rabia, also when we think about all of us, we all, you know, can attest to this, that our very, very first planting experience would be in school. Okay, maybe with parents, like I said, we watch our families in the gardens, but think about that project that we all did at school with the popcorn seeds or the bean seeds, remember? And we needed to put it in the cotton wool and watch it grow when it came to seed germination. And remember how excited we got? Can you recall when the little leaves and shoots started popping up in the roots? And then when we needed to go and plant it finally, you know, in your garden, but when you're taking it to school, you're taking it with your pride and joy, like, look at mine. And all my, you know, all our friends used to show each other. Some had the popcorn seeds, some had the bean seeds with our cotton wool and our little saucer. And eventually my mother said, please, you know what, there's enough saucers that you've been breaking or misplacing. Just use one of the empty butter containers. But I remember that was very special. It also taught us from young, alhamdulillah, the creation of Allah, how it grows, how it nurtures itself, the process of growth. And That's very, very special. So I don't know if parents are still doing that now. I don't know if schools are still doing it now.
This was my question. We need to have Sumaya on here to find
Yes.
out if schools are still doing it, because she's with the schools.
Yes.
And, I think that is, a lot of the kids would it would just dry out in the classroom. Now, I took mine home. Did you take yours home?
I took mine home and I tried to plant it.
Yes, did you?
But I must tell you the craziest thing, right? So I had beans and I was so chuffed with it because it was growing so nice. I think it was already in grade 2 at the time. So I planted a whole lot. I had the one that I showed off at school and I had a whole lot of them growing. So what I did was I planted it in my mommy's garden, obviously with her permission. And then I took 2 ice cream sticks and I made like a little poster and I called it Bean Valley. But me being so innocent and young at the time, there was rain and obviously my poster fell. So I was very disappointed that Bean Valley people couldn't see. But then my mother was so cute and she explained to me, as it grows, we're all going to know. So whoever came to visit, I would show them, there's my beans growing.
There's your beans growing.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cute. Yes, I remember doing that too. Growing the beans, harvesting the beans. It was really the best. And it's kind of sad nowadays, as life becomes so commercial, that some parents, also because let's face it, it can be a bit messy to have pots in the house. And a lot of families think, oh, if you're going to have pots, have it outside. But it doesn't have to be messy. And children, especially little children growing up, seeing life start from the seed. The lessons you take, that you have to survive the hardship. That seed has got to die before it grows. The lessons that you take about growing, you can transfer all of those to people dynamics.
Yes.
Right? And you have your Phenomenal Woman show, which talks all about the people dynamics. Right? And it is just like a seed. We almost have to die to the things that we are taught that are not right, and learn the things that we do, take in the good stuff, right? Just like plants do, we have to take care of ourselves physically, and then so we grow and we change. And the things that we look like, the things that we think we are, sometimes turn out to be the things we're not.
That's
okay.
Beautiful. I have to ask you this question, right? The one day, I remember one of my doctors when I was in Johannesburg, she asked me if there was any plant that you could say best describes you, what would it be? And I looked at my doctor, it was my general practitioner, her name was Farhana, Dr. Mia, and I said, any plant? She says, yes, baby. I'm just curious because you have a very inquiring mind and you're a teacher. What would you say? So I told her, cactus. She says, why would you say a cactus? I said, because I always, when I look at a cactus, it can withstand the most extreme, harsh weather conditions. Mm-hmm. And yet it just still manages to find its way and stand, erect in its glory. It's standing intact despite any weather conditions, and it's just looking beautiful. It just manages anything. And you think to yourself, Alhamdulillah, that's me. I'm a cactus.
And you know that
if you trouble me, I'll poke you.
One of the most fragrant flowers comes from a cactus. It is the queen of the night. And there's a reason it's called the queen of the night.
Yes.
It only gives you that fragrance for a night, and then it dies. And it's a humongous cactus. Here in Durban, we have these beautiful candelabra cactuses that grow into actual trees, also giving us beautiful flowers. Some of the most beautiful flowers come from cacti.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So there you have a message from a listener. Hey, y'all, you can make a small garden on your deck. No excuse.
100%.
That's for you.
100%. And the other thing is also, lots of people are now, some, like maybe families that are starting out, maybe families that want to downscale, they're moving into apartments, they're moving into flats.
Yes.
So they have their little balconies or, just there on your windowsill, and you get your little pot plants, you get your little cactus. It's beautiful. I think it's so important to have this greenery in your home. It's just calming. It's beautiful. It teaches you to appreciate Allah's creation. So I love it. I love it. Tell your listener, well done. Love it.
Yes, definitely. Herb gardens are so easy to make, and people think, oh gosh, but it's just the same old, same old. There's like parsley and there's basil and there's thyme. And I'm thinking, no, what about tarragon?
Yes.
What about making a beautiful tarragon vinegar or a tarragon syrup, which is like that little bit of a French, a little bit of a French taste that you can put
Ooh.
on all these beautiful
And Samantha, it will taste so delicious. I cannot wait to imagine the infusing of the natural oils. It is so delicious. And the best of all, it is organic, natural.
I'm having an idea. Maybe you and I need to get together and we need to co-author a book.
I think we need to co-author a book, because
We
when it
talk about
comes
these
to
beautiful herbal recipes,
I must tell you also, when it comes to the herbs and you smell it and you taste it and you tell yourself again, let's be honest, when we think organic foods, right? We grew up knowing that because we had families who had gardens, who had their vegetables growing in the gardens, and that for us was organic. It was from the ground. Pull the carrot out or pull the potatoes out. I mean, we had a bush of prickly pear. We would take it out. After a couple of pricks later, bring it in the house, wash it, trying to get the thorns off, cut it up and use it like in curries or various ways of pickles.
Yes.
So that was very special. I mean, think about this, Rabia, right? The very, very, very first time you saw a tomato growing in your garden, and then you needed to take that tomato and eat it, and you looked at it and you brought it like your little trophy, and you're like, I'm eating the tomato and I'm putting it in the salad of what grew in my garden.
yes.
That is so special, and children need to understand that and feel that it's so special.
Now, you know what's so special also is there's a special person that is going to be walking into the studio right now, because he's coming to fetch you. Bibi Aisha, alhamdulillah, is being taken off to her book signing, so we can't keep her any longer. So we're going to go to an ad break, and while we go to the ad break, before we go to the ad break, I want to say Jazakallah khair so much for being on the show this morning. It was awesome seeing you yesterday. For the ladies who attended, it was phenomenal, wasn't it?
Subhanallah, you know, when is the tagline of my show. Yes. When women stand together, amazing things happen.
Yes.
So alhamdulillah.
It was
looking
amazing.
Forward to just having you on my show as well, and more shows. And, you know, a message to your listeners that, you know, keep it green.
Keep it green.
Keep it green.
Yes.
Jazakallah khairan for having me.
Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. We're going to an ad break and we'll be right back after this.
Education, health, dignity, empowerment. These wishes all begin with water. Africa Muslims Agency is committed to providing clean water to the thousands who still live without this basic human right. Support us in giving the best of charities. Provide a water well for 16,500 Rand or a borehole for 55,000 Rand in Afghanistan or 65,000 Rand in Africa. Gain Thawabi Jariyah and help communities to reach their full potential. Africa Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
J. Junaid Jamshed brings you the Freedom Sale. Enjoy up to 50% off on all items from 14th August at 222 Felix Lamini Road, Overport. Visit our stores or shop online at ca.junaidjamshed.com.
Voices for Gaza. Experience the beauty of Kirat by renowned international reciters and be inspired by enlightening talks from distinguished speakers. Durban, talk by Sheikh Zair Mahmood of the UK. Kirat by Qari Idi Shaban of Tanzania. 26th August 2024. Masjid Salam, Musgrave, Durban. After Isha Salah, ladies' facilities available.
This August, we unwrap Radio Al Ansar from the beginning. A documentary-like series on the birth of KZN's only Islamic radio station. A journey of hope, belief, community and passion. Follow the Sunday Lounge as we take you through the evolution of community radio with a dynamic team. A nostalgic month-long special filled with highlights of the best of Radio Al Ansar. The highs, lows, behind the scenes, and a trip down memory lane with the original presenters, staff and management over the years. With me, Salma Kazi Wahab on the Sunday Lounge every Sunday between 10 and 12. Heartfelt conversation on an inspiring journey with the women of Radio Al Ansar.
They convinced the world to believe that terrorists look like beards and thobes. Now, as the facade cracks, one martyr after another, the world sees through the broken windows and now knows the true face of terrorism. It wears suits and ties and smiles behind lies.
اللهم احفظ المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الحاقدين اللهم أعد المسجد الأقصى ورحاب المسلمين اللهم وطهر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين اللهم عليك بهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك يا قوي يا متين اللهم منزل الكتاب مجري السحاب هازم الأحزاب سريع الحساب اهزم اليهود وزلزلهم يا قوي يا عزيز.
Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theatre rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more for quality audio visual experience. Now available, full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience. Call 031 306 4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickfield Road, Overport. Simplex Radio, the name you can trust. Advertising pays. Get your business on the map through advertising with Radio Al Ansar, the station with a proven record. Let's talk to Zain of The Watch Doctor, a newcomer in the market.
I'll recommend advertising on Radio Al Ansar for sure, as my client base has increased substantially. Totally unexpected.
There you have it. Join the airwaves and take it up to another level. Call us on 031-208-1601 and ask for Fatima Shahina or Faraz Bucks, our consultants. Let your name be heard by thousands of people. Radio Al Ansar, your partner in business.
We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Join Maulana Dawood Fikra of MDF Foundation every Sunday between 9 and 10 p.m. on Living the Legends, only on Radio Al Ansar.
And we're back. You're listening to Green Thumbs Up, that gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed, but yes, you did. And we've had Bibi Ashla here on the show talking about gardening from the perspective of some of our presenters. We are waiting for another one who is due here very soon. But in the meantime, there is a recipe that has come in from a listener. There's a recipe, she says, for your morning breakfast. 3 ripe bananas, 1 cup of milk, 2 eggs, 1 cup of self-raising flour, and half a teaspoon of bicarb. Put it all in a blender, mix it, and basically you're making your pancakes, right? You're making a blob of the batter into some butter into better butter, and make your yummy crepes. Enjoy it with a cuppa. And if you want to be low carb, here's a one-up on tip on that. All you need is the banana, and you need a little bit of honey, as much as you want, and just a half a teaspoon of cornstarch is all you need, and that actually makes some really good low carbohydrate pancakes. So just to tell her recipe again, it's 3 ripe bananas, 1 cup of milk, 2 eggs, 1 cup of self-raising flour, half a teaspoon of bicarb. Put it in a blender, and there you have it, right? And you make it as you would your crepes in a pan with some butter. Now, before our next guest joins us, I want to actually talk to you about a herb that's one of my favorites. Bibi Aisha was talking about the kind of plants and herbs that she likes to use. And please do WhatsApp me. What is your favorite herb? 0609041056. My favorite herb from a medicinal perspective, I have two. One is yarrow, milfolium. Milfolium, yarrow, is one of the most important herbs for male and female health. Why? Because it is an anti-inflammatory, because it is the kind of thing that helps to regulate cycles, both in men and in women. It is one of the things that helps the prostate to heal. It is one of the things that helps women who have fibroids, endometriosis. It is one of those things that helps with PCOS. There are so many ways to use yarrow internally as well as externally. It's great for colds and flus, for sinus congestion. It's one of the things that helped a lot of my clients who would call and say, what do I do with this pandemics that's going on. What do I do when I catch this virus? Okay. Yarrow, it's one of those things that you add to something like rosemary, which is an antiviral, etc. But yarrow is always in my home, not just in my pantry, but also in my garden. I have a pot plant with yarrow. When you're selecting yarrow, you will find that there are yarrow that have white flowers and yarrow that has red flowers. What does yarrow look like? You know how dandelion leaves look? They have all those little fingers, right? Now, yarrow has a lot more of those fingers, and it grows low to the ground relatively, but the leaves grow upwards like a little shower. How do I explain this? If you're on Facebook, you can see what I'm doing with my hands. Bounces out like that, yarrow, okay? And so if you were to take a whole lot of strings and hold them upright and then cut them, you know how they bend outwards? That's yarrow. And then you've got these beautiful long stalks with a flower on the end. These flowers are big, they are beautiful, they're either white or pink. Medicinally, the white one is the one that grows wild like a weed in Europe, and it is one of the most powerful herbs for ladies. Please know that herbs are dangerous if you are pregnant, so please never take herbs or these herbal remedies without consulting with your medical practitioner. We like to keep things safe here and keep things logical. So yarrow is one of the ones that is my favorite, and the other one of my favorites is my favorite because it can do so very, very, very much for you, and that is nettles. Stinging nettle. You get the big stinging nettle and the small stinging nettle, and they have different botanical names, and I'm talking about Ortiga diorca, which is the short one. It is a stinging nettle that gets its name by virtue of the fact that it stings. It will sting you. Yes, it will. If you walk past a nettle bush and you brush up against it, you're going to, it's almost like a bee sting. It catches you a little bit thereafter, and then it really burns and it itches for a long, long time. And why is that? Because it has these little hooks that get into you. But why is stinging nettle so important? It is an immunomodulator. It modulates your entire immune system. It is one of those herbs that works on your blood, because it makes your blood slightly thinner. It is one of those herbs that works on your urinary system. So it is very healing for the kidneys. It is very healing for the bladder. In fact, it is a super first recourse if you are coming down with a UTI, male or female, child or adult. Of course, with children, particularly below 4, we avoid herbs, but between 4 and 12, we give them half dosage. So what is the dosage for a yarrow cup of tea or for a stinging nettle cup of tea? It's always the same. It's a teaspoon of the dry herb to a cup of the boiling water. Let it stand for 10 minutes. And then you strain it and you sip it. These things that we call herbal teas, they really have a different name. And the name is tisane. How special is that? Tisane. Yes, indeed. You have a little sip of a tisane. Try to avoid putting honey and sugar into your herbal teas if you're using them medicinally. Why? Because anything that gives you a glycemic response, so that triggers a blood sugar response, is going to lower your immune system. Sugar is one of those things that really, really brings your immune system right down. And this is why sugar gives us energy is not really true. My sound engineer today is laughing, having a good time. How are you, by the way? Hey, introduce yourself, because we have a new sound engineer here. Introduce yourself. Give our listeners a little bit about you.
Hello, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
To one and all listeners out there, my name is Asif, and I am Sister Rabia Kamalos.
Sound engineer.
I'm a bit nervous, but
yes, it is. It's your first time here, isn't it?
Yes.
Yay! Debut on Green Thumbs Up.
I'm doing a very good job.
Absolutely wonderful. Yes, you are. Jazakallah so much for being here to help us out. And we have our special guest that has arrived. But in the meantime, I'm going to take this message. How are you, Rabia? This is from Sister, I think it's Makada. Always learning from you. I have a question. Last week, there were about 8 monkeys on my lawn. I noticed they were pulling the grass and eating something from the tip of the grass. Very curious to know what they were eating. Jazakallah khair. Well, this is very interesting. Do you know that if you, kids sometimes do this, you're sitting on the grass and you're pulling out the grass. Now, monkeys obviously are eating grass out of desperation, or because naturally they know that it's going to help their tummy to work, for instance, because it will. It's going to give them some nitrogen, it's going to give them some energy. So yes, as a last resort, they will eat grass. But it's not the grass. It's that little meaty bit between the leafy green and the root that's kind of dirty. Okay, so they literally pull that out and they nibble on that because it gives them some nutrition. So that is probably what your monkeys were eating. So how lovely that we still have monkeys here. Let's take care of them. Let's say hello to somebody who is here, who is another one of our presenters. Today we're finding out, how do our presenters see gardening? If you're not with us on Facebook, you want to join us, because we went from one Bibi to another Bibi, and this is Bibi Amina Fili. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Green Thumbs Up.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you, Rabia, as well as to your Green Thumbs Up listeners.
Yeah, it's so great to hear her silky smooth voice, isn't it? Oh, stop. The way she says that. So now, tell us about your gardening exploits or non-exploits.
Oh gosh, I think that I don't have green thumbs. I feel that every plant that I try to maybe plant or look after, I always kill. But I've always wanted to know how to just be, a little green thumbs up lady.
Okay, I think here's a few tips. Firstly, we kill plants with too much love.
Is it?
So maybe that's your problem. You're giving them too much love.
Absolutely.
It is possible to kill things with kindness, and plants are no exception. So if you have a plant, the first thing you want to do is look it up and say, what does this thing actually want? Cactuses are easy to live with and easy to take care of. Even though, as we heard, some people still kill them. But cacti are easy to take care of. They need a sunny place. They need a little bit of water now and then. You literally put your finger in the soil and see, okay, is it still kind of, damp further down? Because sometimes the top part of soil is damp, but then the bottom is dry, or vice versa. So that's one thing. But what kind of things would you grow if you were to grow?
What I would like to learn how to grow is sunflowers.
Sunflowers.
Genuinely, I think that's my favorite flower because it's bright and beautiful. So I would really like to learn how to grow that. Also roses.
Oh, so you like go straight for the top, eh?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing for you about sunflowers that many people don't know. You love the sunflower itself, right?
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yes, and they do turn and they move with the sun.
Really? Okay, what?
Yes. So when the sunflower has flowered and the flower is out, if you're in the southern hemisphere, and the sun is coming up in the west, the flower will be facing the west. And as the sun moves, the flower face moves.
Oh my gosh.
With the sun.
I didn't know that.
Huh?
Another exciting fact.
Did you know something else about the sunflowers? You look at that flower and you think there's the middle and then there's the petals, right?
Yeah.
It's one flower. It's not.
Oh, really?
Do you know? The sunflower seeds are little black dots in the center of. So what you should actually think of when you see a sunflower is you should think of a big plate full of tiny little flowers.
Oh my gosh.
And each tiny little flower becomes a seed.
Oh my gosh.
And
Can you hear? I'm like in awe. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Wow.
that is actually the truth of a sunflower. A sunflower is just a big plate with these beautiful leaves, these beautiful petals, shall we say, and each little flower inside becomes the sunflower seed, which then gives us another plant. So Sister Khadija has messaged us. She says, Assalamu alaikum. Mualim and Sister Rabia, wonderful program as always. This is not related to your subject, but a few weeks ago you mentioned about the best castor oil. Can you please advise the name again and where in Durban one can purchase it and approximate cost? I'm going to give you this very quickly. So castor oil, I spoke about castor oil coming from the castor oil bean or the castor oil plant. In South Africa, if you have a South African manufactured castor oil, it doesn't matter the brand. All of them have to meet British pharmacopoeia standards. Go and look at my TikTok video. It is posted up. The most recent one actually is again a whole explanation on this, and you'll find me as Life Coach Rabia. So if you buy South African made castor oil. It has to meet British Pharmacopoeia standards, which means it has to be organic, has to be cold pressed, it has to be solvent free, and hey presto, there you go. Find a South African brand. Hammer, for instance, is a South African brand, but the ones that you even get at our I don't want to say the name because I don't think we're allowed to, Bibi.
Yeah, I don't think we are.
But there is a chain, a range of stores that serve our Muslim and Indian communities, and they have castor oil, and their castor oil is a good quality castor oil, so you can get it from there.
Okay.
So sunflowers and roses. So sunflowers do need a little bit more space, but you can grow it in a pot as long as the pot is deep enough to allow for the roots. And you could literally buy some sunflowers that you get for birds. Okay, most of them are not irradiated because it is for bird feed, and you can just break that shell just a tiny little bit on the tip to help the plant. Put it into the soil, keep it damp, and it's going to grow.
Wow.
The secret now to feeding your plants is in the spring you feed it. So fertilizers, I must do a whole thing on this. Fertilizers have this thing called NPK, which is nitrogen and then phosphorus and then potassium. And people say, what do I get? How much NPK? Is it 555 or 111 or 22? What do we do? And here I say, in spring, you get stuff that's high on N. So the first number should be higher or all the same. In summer, you get the one that's high in the P. Okay? Because now you are going to build flowers. And then when you're in late summer and you're wanting middle to late summer and you're wanting fruit, then you want one that's higher in K. So that's literally as easy as fertilizers get. And the trick with feeding plants, if you're getting up some herbs or you're wanting a sunflower, get your soil, give it a little bit of food.
Okay, how do you do that?
Just once a week.
Okay.
So you can go and buy yourself something that's a multi-feed, or you can take some coffee grounds from your kitchen, some tea bags, some eggshells, break this all up and put it into your plant. So as you water it slowly, it goes down into the sunflower.
I think for me, why I was killing my plants or how I would kill is to overwater.
Yes.
Because I would think, okay, fine, I need to water it every day, but some plants don't need that much. And then I would, kill them with kindness, as you say.
Yeah, water is love for plants. And also people will give them water, but then think that the soil will give them everything else. So we do need to feed them. Like when you're raising kiddos, you got a little bit of water, you got a little bit of food. Are there plants that you just don't like, that you don't schmuck?
Those chappy ones. What do you call them?
Snap?
Yes.
The Venus flytraps.
Yes, Venus flytraps. I don't like those.
Are you a bit freaked out by them?
Yeah, they would be weird. I think.
You know something interesting about Venus flytraps and other carnivorous plants? They don't want any food.
Oof.
They're the easiest to take care of and yet the easiest to kill off, because people don't know that. So they give them tap water.
Yeah.
They try to feed them because the plant's not doing well. That plant literally was created to want nothing. You get some distilled water, and once a week you give it distilled water, and that's it, and it'll thrive. It's going to catch any bugs on your other plants. So you don't like it, but it's very, very useful.
I think it's just the look of it just freaks me out. But I would say the plant that I do like is the bonsai. I remember when you had your event, I was in awe. I was in absolute awe how beautiful they were and how they grew are gorgeous, and the care of it, it's quite nice.
Now bonsais are, you see you get some ladies who have expensive taste in life with things that they buy. You have expensive taste in things that need good care. Like roses that need good care, and sunflowers. Now is the time, if you have roses, it is the time to start pruning them. Okay, Sister Farida says Assalamu alaikum. Sunflowers are the monkey's best friends.
Yeah, I think because of the seeds, right?
And not only, because do you know that before the seeds grow, you can actually eat the sunflower like a little steak.
Oh my God. That's why I like it.
You see, you can eat it like a steak. You can actually cook it in milk and spices as well. And then it goes soft and you can serve it up as a dessert. Hence she fails to let them grow. They are the monkey's best friend. But if you harvest them earlier, when the central kind of plate is full of these tiny little flowers, you might be lucky and still get some seeds if you allow that big stalk to come with it, because that stalk still contains food, and you may still find that those little flowers convert into seeds. So somebody asked, Oh, okay. So that's not for us. There's some WhatsApps coming in here that are not for us. So, Bibi Amina, what is going to be? You know what I think I need to do? I think I need to bring you a plant.
Oh gosh, and then you need to see how well I look after it.
How about? Okay, anything physically that you would like to address? No major illness revelation here, but anything that you think you'd like to address, whether it's illness or beauty.
No, not really.
No smooth skin. You've already got such smooth skin.
Don't put nazar. Yesterday, yesterday everyone was like, I mean, you have such nice skin, and I got all pimples this morning.
No. Mashallah.
Allahumma barak.
Yes. So, aloe.
Mm-hmm.
Aloes are hard to kill.
Okay.
They are great for immune system. You can take them. I think I need to bring you a little aloe vera plant.
I'll kill that also, probably.
No, I promise you won't. Have you got a sunny window?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we can put your aloe in a sunny window. That's what we can do. And that's all we have time for.
Oh, really?
You barely got to say 2 things.
Oh my gosh. No, but I enjoyed myself. Thank you so much for having me. And we spoke a little bit about plants, and hoping that you come on my show as well and educate my Feel Good Friday listeners.
Absolutely. We'll talk about plants.
Absolutely.
Or natural healing.
Ah, lovely.
Anything else you like? So that's it from us. My dear listener, thank you so much for being with us today. We've learned a little bit more about our presenters and how they like or would like to grow some stuff, and I'm going to be on Bibi Amina's back because I'm going to bring her a plant to take care of. Yes, and then we're going to follow up with her every once in a while. Pressure, under pressure, and we're going to see how she fares with that. So next week, please join us on the show. We're going to have an entire show dedicated to clivias with a good friend of mine who is an expert at growing clivias for the last 20 to 30 years. Go and look up what those are, because they can really make your garden very, very pretty. Okay, so from us at Green Thumbs Up, we wait to see you next week. Bibi Amina, jazakallah so much for being on the show with us. That voice, only a pleasure, darling. She's just so silky, silky smooth. Mashallah, we will say. Until next week, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.